Hey everyone, Hellcat here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Chat. In case you haven't heard, I am crazy, ridiculously excited about Guild Wars 2. So today I want to talk about the Guild Wars 2 press beta. There's a lot of videos and articles out there, and I wanted to talk about the things I learned or found interesting. Before I talk about that though, I wanted to touch on one quick thing that caused some fanboy angst before the press beta. ArenaNet apparently has a small team working on a console version of the game. They have stated that this is not really news, as this is something that they have talked about multiple times in public, and that they're fully dedicated to making a game that is great for the PC first. I may be completely stupid, but I don't understand why this is such a big deal. Yes, generally console ports to PC suck, the controls are never right, they're not done well, etc, etc, but this isn't a console port to PC, is it? Anyway, on to press beta info. Apparently, there were actually hundreds of closed beta invites sent out for the weekend, but only the press got a partial NDA lift. They had access to 5 character slots. Also, in case for some reason you haven't watched any of the new press videos or the articles, the beta was limited to Norn, humans, and Char. Sylvari and Asura were not in it, so quit pestering all those press types for footage of them. All of the classes were available. Although that didn't seem to stop every other video from being about Mesmers. I understand the Mesmer is new and it's first time footage for the class, but holy frickin' Mesmer footage, Batman. Moving on, I want to start with a quote from Phil Collar's article at Game Informer. Quote, "Guild Wars 2 does everything the Old Republic promised, and then some. This is the actual MMO revolution we've been waiting for." End quote. So, in case you were wondering, yes, the general consensus from the press beta seems to be that Guild Wars 2 delivers. I've heard a few people describe dynamic events as an organic and natural way to doing quests. I think Jonathan Ross describes it pretty well in his Destructoid article. Quote, "While as I mentioned earlier, there are still quest givers and floating green stars, that mechanic's only used for your story quests, a quest chain that is personal to your character, instance, and based on your race and the decisions you made at character creation. Every other quest and event, which will likely make up the bulk of your player versus environment experience, are world events that just naturally happen." End quote. I think that Sean Schuster of Massively also has a good description in his article. Quote, "You have your normal leveling progression, but there's also a running count on the map screen that shows you the completion percentages for the area you're in and the entire world. These are broken down by side tasks completed, waypoints discovered, points of interest found, and skill challenges finished." End quote. To me, the best example for this type of play occurs in the Yogscast video. They were walking past some wolf cubs that were sort of roaming about, and one of the cubs stops and asks them to come hunt with him. He didn't run up to a wolf cub that had a yellow exclamation point above its head. The quest just sort of happened. Also, when you help your local folk out, they will eventually turn into merchants, and you can use karma to purchase things from them. Karma, in case you don't already know, is a form of currency you earn from completing the events, along with golden XP. During the beta, the press had access to the first dungeon. It seemed to have some pretty nice things in it beyond kill trash mob, make this pull just right, fight boss. It had some nice interactive bits, such as keeping doors open by dropping rocks on a switch, and rooms with traps and the like. I also learned a little bit more about skill points. These are what you use to purchase elite and utility skills, which are the set of 5 skills located to the right of your health bubble. You get a skill point each time you level, but they can also be gained through different trials, such as NPC brawls, bestiary book collectibles, and jumping puzzles. The locations of these attainable skill points can be seen on the world map. I don't know if all of them can be viewed that way or not, but there was quite a few that could be viewed in the videos. Next up, some outlets are praising the removal of the Holy Trinity, saying it is very awesome. Others are saying that it's not so much that it's been removed, but that it's more like all the classes can sort of be their own Holy Trinity. Whatever it is, it looks like it works, and I haven't come across anyone that played saying it's a bad design decision. There was also quite a bit of information on guilds released. Press and devs were put in a guild for the beta. GuildWars2Guru.com has a nice bit about it, including some video and a forum post by, and I'm sure I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Kavina. Some of the highlights are that you can join multiple guilds, though you can only represent one. By representing a guild, you're gaining influence for that guild. You gain more influence when you do things with your guild, such as leveling in events. Influence is used for guild upgrades, such as buffs, guild armor and emblems, guild bank expansions, and a whole slew of other things. Using influence puts an upgrade into a build queue, where it may take as much as a week to complete. However, you can also purchase influence by buying booze from a guild promoter and then, quote-unquote, donating it to Tyria residents. Take a look at the post in the movie. There's quite a lot of nice information there. After much deliberation, ArenaNet decided to make some changes to the down state and to being defeated. They are including durability after all. However, it only occurs when you're actually defeated, not when you are downed. A random piece of your equipment will become damaged. After all your pieces are damaged, they will start to break one by one. Broken items have their stats rendered useless. Additionally, dying multiple times in a row now causes the time spent in a down state to be shorter. In other words, you'll have less time to rally and will eventually lose the ability to rally altogether. ArenaNet has stated that, quote, in order to have literally no chance to rally, you would need to be down 4 times within 1 minute, end quote. They also added a heal skill to the down state that's interruptible by damage. This was done so that if, say, you and the enemy died at the same time and there's no one around to res you, you'll still have the ability to heal yourself out of the down state instead of being forced to respawn. Alright, so now let's talk about a few odds and ends that I found fairly useful. The ability to swap weapons in combat is gained at level 7, so it's not something you start with. There is a fairly long list of achievements, which includes daily and monthly achievements. In structured PvP, if the teams are unbalanced, members of the larger team are given the opportunity to voluntarily switch sides before the system auto-balances them. The map has toggleable, is that even a word? Layers. So, if I need to talk to someone on the 5th floor of a building, I can just toggle the map layers to figure out what level he is on, instead of running up and down a billion floors trying to figure out where the hell he's at. Also, ArenaNet talked briefly about server queues. There are none! Woohoo! Essentially, if the server is full, you are sent to an overflow server where you can still play and do things until you can rejoin your friends on your normal server. Even though the press response was overwhelmingly positive, I encountered 2 points of negativity. The first is that some are saying the game runs horribly, specifically during World v World v World. Others are saying they had no frame rate issues at all. From what I can gather, though, it's generally agreed upon that the game is still in beta, and it has yet to be optimized for performance. The second point comes in the form of character creation. You do not get to choose an eye color, and it appears that as of now, there are no plans to include this option. Eye color is chosen for you when you choose a face type. While most people could care less, for obsessive character creators like myself, it's a bit of a disappointment. I mean, I could choose to play any race with any class, but if I want to have a cool char with 2 different eye colors, I'm stuck with that horrible looking face. I know. Most everybody could care less, but there are a couple of us out there that do. That being said, in the grand scheme of Guild Wars 2 awesomeness, it is a small, albeit annoying, sticking point that I can deal with, I suppose. Finally, if you're interested in ranger pets, you should absolutely go check out this video by Jurian Reigns. It shows all the pets and the underwater pets. Underwater pets, like a shark, that kicks so much ass. Keep in mind, it's a beta, and these pets are subject to change. One last thing. I wanted to express my extreme disappointment in the lack of crafting videos. I couldn't find a single one, other than gathering animations, and saw that a couple people thought that in the grand scheme of things, crafting was the most lackluster system. Other people said that it was totally awesome, so I don't know. I would like to make that judgment for myself. Anyway, if you find some crafting videos, hit me up in the comments below. Please subscribe to my channel, and as always, thank you so very much for stopping by. Adios.